thank you again for being here. We're super delighted and honored to have both our Obaid Siddiqi chairs here today. So thanks Preetha and Samira for making the time to join us, and to all of you for joining on a Monday morning. You're not stuck in traffic, so that's great. For many of you, all of you are familiar with the idea of the chair. The chair is a space to try and sort of think about intersections between the humanities and the sciences, and the chair is a one-year position at NCBS. It's a senior faculty position that is generously funded by the TNQ Foundation, and we're just very, very grateful to TNQ for having supported this over the last 5 years and hopefully many years to come. We've just concluded actually a year of spending time with Preetha, who served as the 4th Obaid Siddiqi Chair and has just finished her lectures a little over a week ago, as it were. Thanks so much, Preetha, for your time and for your work here. I'll just quickly sort of just share, over the course of the time that Preetha was here, you delivered a course around the history and philosophy of science. There were many informal sessions that we were doing in person in the canteen, and of course online as well. We had the pleasure of sort of also reaching out to you for advice on how to look at various kinds of archives that you have navigated over the course of your work. And we concluded with the 3 Obaid Siddiqi lectures that you delivered at the Bangalore International Center, at Mount Carmel College, and sorry, the second was at St. Joseph's, and the third was at Mount Carmel College. And we had a packed audience both at Joseph's and Carmel, and I believe some of them may also be writing essays based on your lectures. So if you would like to review those. Samira, thanks so much and welcome to our campus. Welcome as the 5th Obaid Siddiqi Chair in the space. Samira is a historian and comes here from Vanderbilt University in the United States. Has navigated quite a bit of bureaucracy already to get here, so thanks for working with us, being patient through this process. There's a little bit more left, but we'll ease you into it. We'll be working on a variety of topics, but one in particular that's of great interest to all of us also in the archives is your interest in cartography, and the course and the research that you plan to do around both pre-colonial and perhaps bringing in some aspects from the maps across the collections in this archive towards both your course and your research in this coming year. And of course, hope you get enough peaceful time on this campus to do your own research. I'll stop speaking, but I will request both Shashi, Samira and Preetha to perhaps say a few words at this point.
Thank you. So again, Preetha, nice having you here. Really enjoyed your talks, your discussions, and I hope you also enjoyed the stay here and the campus, the food, and this interaction with the people in the city, and also in the city, the lectures, the discussion. And welcome, Samira. It's wonderful to see you here today. And next 1 year we look forward to more interaction. In fact, each one of our Obaid Siddiqi chairs are brought in some new interesting expertise, which is not there in the campus. Obviously, it's a very intense, research-intense campus. Everybody is in the lab or in front of their computers and with work, or people like him using the blackboard, writing some equations. But having Obaid Siddiqi chair and our archives and very different scholars, both young and the senior scholars at archives, has given us a new life here. And that life has basically broadened our understanding of science itself. Because we are called scientists, but what is science and its impact to the society, science and culture, and science and society interactions. I think we'll have a better understanding of people like you. And that's really enriches the campus, right? Particularly students who are growing in the field, and when they're maturing and come out as scientists, contributing to very different aspects of the society. It's very important to have this kind of exposure. And I think we are fortunate to have people like you. And thanks to TNQ Foundation for making this happen. And all the wonderful people at archives for making each one of you really come here and also spent time here. And some of you are Obaid Siddiqi Chair, full professor, Dr. Nair. We also have scholarship residence program where people come for 2 months at a time. Like Clinical Singh is here from Ashoka University. Ghazala is also here today, by the way. He's also a scholar in residence. Then we also have research scholars who are learning about archive and trying to connect the past and the present and the future of science and connecting the tech. And also our own, experts in the archives who do archiving, they do curation, they do conservation work. There's a fantastic ecosystem we have here. And particularly in your work, Samira, this is something which is very interesting for us. We have what's called Bangalore Sustainability Forum. And idea is also to see how you make Bangalore livable, assuming that it's not livable or it's quite likely not livable now already. And you came all the way from Yanbaghi, I guess.
No, from Indiranagar.
Indiranagar. I'm sure it's worse. Right. So, but that's only one aspect of our life, traffic. But there are so many aspects. But what was it like in Bangalore when it was conceived as a place where to, when Tipu Sultan settled here, and then other people started here. Before, of course, Kempegowda and then Tipu Sultan. And the Madras Engineering Group, in thanks to Preetha, they discovered that they have maps of Bangalore from 1750 onwards. But they're all, British, surveyed and then made these maps. Like very detailed maps, including, as usual, which tree, where it is, and all these things. But they must have, the first few maps must have built on some pre-existing map before the colonial. So we need to really look for such kind of material. Perhaps it could be in the Paris archive or some other place, or buried somewhere. One can actually look for such kind of things. It would be interesting. It would be very useful for, if you had to make Bangalore more sustainable, right? And we have the pattern of anybody from Bangalore sustainable once a year. Some point you will see that. So thanks again and welcome, Preetha. Thanks. And nothing like goodbye or farewell.
Sure.
Keep coming back, I said.
Yeah.
We are not going to say goodbye or
I hope not.
thank you.
Yeah. Well, people are important, but I would first of all say that I enjoyed the campus, the trees, the plants. I've never tired of looking at them, and Professor Shiva Prasad was wonderful, and the two of us could, organize a plant walk, which was a wonderful opportunity. It gave me to befriend some of the trees that I hadn't known before. So that was, I think, wonderful. Coming to people, of course, met some very interesting people. We had a wonderful team at the archives with Shashi, of course, and was always there. Every time I sent a mail, I would get a response in 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes sometimes, surprisingly. I enjoy talking to some. I've had the opportunity to talk a little more extensively. Venkat, of course, I've spent more time talking than anyone else. I remember Parvati, Kanika, Anjali, I got to know her better in the most recent times. But it's also because I did not visit the archives too many times. But I had a different way of working. It was a very intense 1 year, intense at several levels. One is the course in history and philosophy of science, which I did, gave me a great opportunity to revisit some of these, to revisit the discipline itself, which I haven't done for some time. So although I was a bit hesitant in doing it because it involved a lot of work, a lot of reading again, things which I may not have immediate relevance to my work. But it was a wonderful opportunity. we had at least 10 series students. It starts off with 20 or so, and then you have at least 10 of them, and they were science students doing research, some of them. Some of them are pre-doctoral. But those 10 students, you know, just, I was so happy I did the course because they received this well. We had presentations at the end of it. You know, it was offered for 2 credits. So that was a wonderful experience, and that was I think, the best interaction I've had with the science people of the campus. I've seen their interest, growing interest in history, and also images, historical images that have to do with science. So that was wonderful. I also happened to give a couple of public lectures and informal sessions, and I did go out and also lecture at Samira. I presented something at Chennai. So when I say this year was so intense that I made the best. I had to also balance, you know, my contribution to this place, which is why I am here, but also to balance it with my own research, which was, it's something that I had to sort of work extra hard to do it. I traveled across the country at I spent time at various archives, various archival collections, which I couldn't have without the funds I had here, because I've been an independent scholar all this time. So the funds that I got here also cater to that. And I'm hoping that this year that I've spent will be reflected in the books that I'm planning, in the papers I'm planning, in the projects I'm planning. I think it will be, this year will be reflected in all of these, and NCBS will figure in the acknowledgements very, very strongly. So thanks very much to everybody for this opportunity, Shashi, Venkat, everybody, Preetha. Thank you.
Okay, I guess it's me now. So great to be here. I'm Samira, and I'm just about getting my bearings on this amazing, beautiful campus. I want to say it's such a pleasure to reconnect with Preetha after, I want to say, maybe 20 years. And I'm so grateful to Venkat and Shashi for helping me jump through all the hoops and loops to actually make it here. This is going to be a fantastic year. I have no doubt about that. I can tell already that it's going to be a very generative year for me personally, and I'm so looking forward to engaging with all of you and to learning about your research and to making that part of my own intellectual and personal growth. I'm a historian, and my formative education was at JNU. So kind of living on a beautiful utopian campus like this is takes me back to my early years. I love the idea of engaging with a sort of community of people who are very engaged with the life of the mind, the kind of intensity of scholarship in different fields in different ways, but in sort of also in a sense of sort of there's a cross-pollination that is made possible, I think, by the archives and by the sort of contiguous presence of everybody here on campus. So I'm very much looking forward to that aspect. Unlike Preetha, I'm somebody who takes my laptop and finds little corners of campus to work on. So I want to issue an open invitation that if you see me with my laptop in a corner, in a canteen or somewhere, please come and chat. Because I always welcome having these unstructured conversations, over a cup of coffee so I would like to kind of reach out to you and make, time to meet individually and to get to know each of you personally. But also I want to ask you to please reach out to me. That's important to me to find community as well. I'm a historian who has worked primarily on the pre-colonial period. And one of the things that has become very clear to me over the course of my education and then my professional life is that it's vital to recognize the ways in which the pre-colonial continues to structure our everyday lives, our thinking, our bit structures, our environment, in ways that may not be always apparent. And so the idea of thinking with maps is a way to kind of make that hunch that I've had for many years quite concrete. When I look at early colonial maps like the ones that you mentioned, the maps of Bangalore, you might think that, oh, this looks like a completely British colonial project in which, you know, they have imposed a certain kind of alien order on the circumstances, on the environment that they encounter. And then you start going deeper and deeper into that map, and you realize how much labor, how much vision, how much work there is, how much collaboration there is with people who are not cited in that map, whose understanding of their circumstances is not footnoted, right? And so I think I consider it part of my job to kind of reimagine what those collaborations might have looked like. We've looked at those primarily through the lens of power, that, you know, it's the British who are in charge and they're kind of imposing a certain kind of grid, as it were, on our lives. I think we've got to the stage now where we can think about these encounters. Yes, there is tremendous and often violent, often brutal exercises of power involved, but we can also start to think of what kind of exchanges there might have been between people who lived here, for whom this was a very familiar part of their lives, and how those kind of contribute to creating what we understand as a sort of colonial cartography. So once again, I just want to say that that I will be sitting and starting to write a book on pre-colonial mapping, and I prefer to use the term mapping rather than cartography, and that's partly because I feel it's a term that will reach out to more and more people. Like, not everyone's interested in the history of cartography, but everyone at some level engages with the idea of mapping. We all think of mapping just our route from our homes to campus, the architecture of our everyday lives, but also professionally. I mean, you might encounter mapping as making a map of a research paper that you're going to write. You might encounter a map as thinking about the genealogy that you derive from. So I want to use this opportunity over the coming year to think about maps very capaciously with you, to engage the archives in that process of thinking widely and broadly about maps, while also starting to kind of generate my own research and my own writing through that. So I look forward to this very much and to getting to know all of you. And thank you so much for this work.
Okay, now everybody eats.
You've already eaten again? Whatever is left.
We've done that, I think.